Intention. I am in tune with the intention of my life. I am one with the intention of my life. I am attuned to the higher intention of the universe, and I flow easily along with it. As a result, doorways open up for me and things fall into place. My life functions smoothly and successfully. As I open to my life's purpose, I focus my intention on the direction I want to go. I achieve my goals easily, and I am able to make decisions and take actions that achieve the results I want. I find meaning even in the smallest things, and I am imbued with a greater sense of purpose in my life. A lot of people think, oh, you're just going to focus your intention. It's all about focusing. And that's one way of intending something. I remember reading a Wayne Dyer book about intention. I don't know if you surely are familiar with Wayne Dyer. He talked about, it was just a real neat way of looking at it. He says, the intention of the acorn is to become an oak tree, right? So what is my intention? Who am I? What is my intention? So the intention isn't so much, it has much to do with purpose and meaning and all that sort of thing, but it's about not just I'm intending to do it, because there's a lot of people who just, we're going to do this and we're going to focus on it, we're going to get it done, and there is certainly nothing wrong with that concept. But I think that intention also has a lot to do with our own, who we are as human beings. Who do we intend to become? How do we intend to act? And so that's like making a commitment in a way to acting, just like what you were saying before about being kind to the people checking you in at the hotel, or just intending to lift the person up that you talk to who's feeling downtrodden.
I have, there are times when you're living your life and everything just seems to fall in place, and you kind of feel like you're in the flow and everything's happening the way, we'd all like it to happen. And then there are other times when, like, I'll get a feeling that there's this thing that that I need to do, that I absolutely have to do. And that it's kind of scary because, if I do that, then I'll be going down a path full of uncertainty. And I just don't know how that's all going to work out. But I know that I'm being pulled. I mean, it's not just an idea. It's like I'm being pulled. And if I take that step, then all the dominoes start falling into place. And I don't know what it is, but sometimes, like for me, that's happened to me, maybe a couple of times that I can think of, like in a big major way. And every time I did it, I had to give up something like a solid base that I was living on. And I had to choose to step off that base and follow that path that went off at an angle. But every time I discovered something inside myself that I never could have discovered if I didn't do that. And the outcome was always pretty extraordinary when I think about it now. And so, that's that thing with being tuned with the intention of my life. Sometimes it's my intention, and sometimes it's it's an intention that's coming from somewhere else. And I don't know how to explain that. But for me, I've always had to follow that and do it and see what comes out of it. I don't know if anyone else has ever experienced anything like that or not.
Well, I really appreciate what you're saying, because it kind of follows the way Dean and I have lived our lives, where we do step off that, precipice and take a chance or take a risk. It sounds like that's what you're talking about.
Walking on water, you mean?
Well, I didn't say step off the cliff because I didn't want to, but it's like when you Paula, or you or me, Dudley, or whoever says, okay, I'm feeling a pull, I'm inspired to do this, and I'm moving in this direction. I don't know what's going to happen. That is the most exciting time, because that's when the universe goes, finally, you decided, you made an intention, you moved in the direction. And then you know what? This at least is what we've noticed. The universe just scrambles to say, oh, well, what about this? And then all sorts of synchronicities happen. And I think that's the most fun part of understanding how these principles work and how we are in relationship with the universe in that way. Deepak Chopra had a wonderful expression. He said, the undulating ocean of infinite possibilities, a universe of infinite possibilities, is just churning. And so when you have fear, that freezes the universe of infinite possibilities. But if you have courage, which is what you're saying, is you step off and you take that risk, and it might be uneven platform, but you don't know. And you're just praying that it all works out. But I think that's when the universe gets excited and goes, finally, yay. Okay, now what, she could do this. And what if I put this in front of her? And how about that? And have you ever noticed things like that happen? You know, where they just come into place because you took the risk, you made the intention, and you took a chance. And then there it is, the universe way, ready to go.
So actually right now that's happening with me. Because, you know, I could have actually retired from teaching, I think 2.5 years ago. But instead of doing that, and I thought that I was going to retire at one point, but instead of doing that, now one of those moments presented itself just this spring. And so to bookend my career, I started off in special education, then moved into regular education. I'm going back to special education. It's going to kind of bookend my career. So instead of retiring, I'm doing something completely different and new, you know, in my everyday work, and not retiring quite yet. So very excited about it. And so I'm hoping it's going to be just like Paula's experience. It feels like it.
Well, congratulations. And I'm sure special education is a field that has need for great teachers like yourself. So
yeah, I mean, those are the kids that have been probably the most vulnerable during the pandemic. Not that all children weren't. But if you need that extra little bit in order to make progress, and then the regular is taken away and the extra, you know, it's just, so there's a lot of work to do. So I'm excited to do it.
I just want to share with you that I had not exactly the same thing, but I worked many years, 30 years as a hospital social worker and working at a dialysis unit. And when I retired, I got recruited to work at an adult day health for adults with developmental disabilities on a very part-time basis. And I kind of debated, do I really want this? And I did it, and it's been incredibly rewarding to me. I've become very fond of the participants, very fond of the staff, and learned the families of someone with a disability, getting great compassion for them and for the participant also. So it's like you said, Dean, life is an adventure. We get to keep on learning every day if we want to, don't we? And with that, I have to go early because I have another meeting right back to back with this. But I am very grateful for the opportunity to join you today. Thank you.
thanks, Karen, and thank you for inspiring me to do this book club, because it's just been fun to have these conversations with people. I really feel like we're all learning from each other.
Yeah, it's very supportive. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
What Paula was saying and what you were saying, Dudley, there's a similar thing happened to me, and I saw the presented itself in my life, and I saw a few years ago, and then I saw the universe doing the same exact thing. It was like it scrambled, and all these other I don't know if you call them opportunities, but all these other opportunities to serve popped up that I didn't even think of. So I I went back to school when my youngest child went to college. I went to college. I had very little college before that, and I became a nurse, and I graduated nursing school at 48, and I was in classes with I don't want to call them kids, but they were the same age as my children. And it was it was, I wouldn't say that that part was a struggle, but going to nursing school, like where, you know, a university, being in the hospital, everything's computerized. I mean, the last time I sat in a classroom, we were still using blackboards, and there was no thing as smart boards, and you know, homework online and quizzes on your iPad and all that jazz, you know. So it was like so many learning curves, and I was not the most tech savvy, but it just presented itself as one not obstacle, one opportunity to learn and expand at a time. And as long as I was open to that to that learning aspect of it, as long as I was like, okay, I can do this, I can learn this, I didn't have to look at like everything I had to do, I was able to graduate, you know, well standing, and have met some wonderful people, and I had amazing opportunities to serve in all of my clinicals, as well as during the beginning of the pandemic. And when I graduated, and everybody was, you know, there were hospital freezes, and I wasn't necessarily in a hurry to find some kind of work. I was like, well, you know, let me make sure this is right. I didn't, you know how I felt about the hospital system in general, but I then the opportunity of like a community service like the American Red Cross, you know, popped up, you know, just came right in front of me, and they love nurses, you know, they need that, you know, that's very difficult to find. So I think it's exactly like you said. I didn't do anything. It just, I made a decision to go with it, to take the plunge, to put all my eggs in a basket, and what would come of it is, you know, come what may, you know, I'll do the best I can. Nothing can go wrong from me doing the best I can. And it's been consistent like that, of things coming up, of, you know, during COVID, when we had lost some family members and friends, and how being able to be there for family to help explain what was happening in the body during the illness was, you know, comforting to them. And to me, it, you know, comforted me to be able to answer questions as to what was going on. So I didn't know what the reason was. What was the reason? Why am I becoming a nurse? You know, why am I going back to nursing school at this time in my life? But it sure proved itself to be worthy already of just serving in any way that I can at that time, that comes up. It's just, you know, I look forward to those moments of unexpected service.
I love that unexpected service. That's great. You remind us a little bit of our son-in-law, who just is in residency for being a doctor, a medical doctor, and he's called pushing 50. You know, just starting his career as a doctor, but that he decided to do that. And again, that's like, whoa, that's a big step, and so much training. Plus, I thought about also what you were saying about having to learn all the technologies that you didn't have. So you got some good new skills that's going to be helpful anyway. You'll be able to figure out how to get on Zoom.
Can I just say to Christina about the tech thing? You know, I was the computer contact for my school for a number of years, and I kind of got out of it. And it's just, it is hard, even if you had been in it the entire time, you know, working through. Everybody's learning, you know, the learning curve, it doesn't, you know, for me, even though I've been doing this for over 30 years, all the new technology is mind blowing. So
yeah, it's constantly changing too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
constantly changing. And you know, the funny thing was about technology was, I I mean, I used the internet, but I was, a homeschool mom of 4 kids. Like my last job that had anything to do with a computer was there was one Windows program. There was one computer with a Windows program on our entire floor on Broadway in Manhattan. So that was a long time ago, because things just exploded,
So
it
fast.
moved so
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
I could use a cell phone and such, and I knew in 1990, I did well what I had to do, but in 20 years, things really, moved very fast. But it was just a matter of being, I resisted in the beginning, but it was a matter of not resisting and just being flexible. And that is, lent me to be able to, well, everybody else has figured this out and I can too. So
That's so good.
I
That is
did
really
work
good.
out that
I
way.
mean, and as a nurse, I don't think you can do what I would do. So as a nurse, you really have to know how to work all of that. In the
Yeah.
classroom, it's just a problem solving lesson with the
Yeah.
children, and they figure it out. If I
Yes.
can't figure it out, somebody will notice what needs to be
Yes.
done. 8 years old, technology.
Oh yes, you gotta love the youth. They just have those brains. They grew up with it.
Yeah.
Well, I really, really appreciate this conversation because, just the idea that we're having to learn new things as we age, we have to be available for what calls us to be of service and help and share our friendship and our love and all the, high intentions we have for doing meaningful work and offering things on this life that we're given.
Yeah.
So I just think, thank you all for joining and just contributing to the conversation. It's really what I had hoped we could have this book club be a place that we can share our own personal experiences and share with each other, because I think that's the best way we can learn, is just talking about stuff and, oh, I'm feeling this way, or what about that? And then, how did you try this? And, we've got it all in us. And as you, as an educator, know, education, I remember reading the definition of education. It's not to fill the mind with stuff, it's to pull things out. It's about pulling out what is in the child or the person already. So you're educating by, just exposing things that already exist. And I think that helps to create less of a hierarchy in a school too, because you're really there to support, and we're all there to support each other in whatever way we can. Well, let us just play a couple toots on the flute and we'll sign off here. And I so appreciate you coming on today and this 6th book club, our 6 months, or halfway through the year. I was a little hesitant to start, but I'm happy that we did it. So peace through music to everyone. Blessings of love and friendship and
From the place of happiness
and joy, for sure.